Hello and welcome to Disney Movie Investigations. This is Casefile number 1186, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So for those of you this is their first time watching these videos, what we do is every week we take a deep dive into a Disney movie, but in the case of this week, a non-Disney movie, and we take a deep dive into the history as well as the production and its possible future within the world of Disney. So like I said, this week is Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and this was our September bonus poll. So thank you all, everyone who took the time to vote. It does make a difference. And yeah, let's get right into Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So this movie was released on June 11th, 1986, and it was directed by John Hughes, who also wrote the original script. It had a budget of $5.8 million and ended up being a huge box office success, raking in $70.1 million. But let's look at the production history of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So John Hughes wrote the script in less than a week. Hughes had pitched kind of a small idea of what the story was, but Paramount was concerned because looming in the distance was a Writers Guild of America strike. And if that strike was to happen, they would not be able to take any submissions of new movies in until the strike was over. So John Hughes went home and wrote the script in 6 days and turned it into Paramount right before the strike happened. So in terms of casting, Matthew Broderick was always the first choice to play Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Hughes had him in mind when writing the script. There was a little bit of concern because Matthew Broderick was doing Biloxi Blues on Broadway, and they were concerned that they wouldn't be able to get him out of his theatrical commitments. So other actors that were considered were Jim Carrey, John Cusack, Anthony Michael Hall, Tom Cruise, and Michael J. Fox. Ultimately, though, the Biloxi Blues commitment did not interfere with the shooting schedule of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, so Matthew Broderick, though, was ultimately cast as the main role of Ferris Bueller. Mia Sara was cast as Sloane Peterson, who is Ferris Bueller's girlfriend, and this was the first role for her right out of high school. They were a little concerned because she was very young looking, that she could handle the part, but she actually has a youngish face. So she's actually was 18 at the movie, even though she looks quite young. Molly Ringwald was campaigning to be in this movie as Sloane Peterson, but John Hughes actually wouldn't let her do the role because John Hughes felt that the role was not big enough for someone of Molly Ringwald's status. Alan Ruck was cast as Cameron. Ruck was always in John Hughes' mind for this role because Alan Ruck had auditioned for the Bender role in The Breakfast Club, but he was unsuccessful, and that obviously he was not in The Breakfast Club. That the role of Cameron was originally offered to Emilio Estevez, who turned it down. And then there was some rumors that Anthony Michael Hall was also going to be playing Cameron, but again, it was turned down. So, and they went with Alan Ruck because Ruck and Cameron had chemistry already, because actually both were in Biloxi Blues together on Broadway at the time. So they already had that chemistry of working together on stage. Jeffrey Jones, who plays Principal Rooney. Jones was cast after Hughes saw him in Amadeus, where he played the Emperor, and he thought that Rooney was a modern-day Emperor, so he was cast in that role. And then the other notable one is Ben Stein was cast as the economics teacher. One of the more famous lines from this is the Bueller scene. Ben Stein is actually he has an interesting history. He was actually a former speechwriter for Richard Nixon, and it was through a friend of a friend of a friend that he actually met John Hughes. And when John Hughes heard his voice, he was like, that was the perfect voice for the economics teacher, so he was cast. And actually, just a side story on that too, he came up with his own dialogue in terms of the the economics lesson that he was teaching. So they asked him to come up with something that was insanely boring, and he came up with that whole voodoo economics scene all by himself. So, yep. So the filming of the movie was done in Chicago beginning on September 9th, 1985, and lasted until November 22nd, 1985. So he allowed his actors to improv a lot and then use kind of the scenery, the scenes in Chicago. And then one of the kind of notable things is the parade where they do the Daka Shane song. The parade itself was actually a parade that was going on at the time, and they just asked if they could just film it, use it for background footage, and then they did then they added the scene with him doing the parade float, and then him, Ferris Bueller, Matthew Broderick singing on the float, and then they added all that in to kind of make it one big scene. And Kenny Ortega, for Disney fans who know him for he directed the movies High School Musical. He actually did the choreography for all the dance sequences in Ferris Bueller. And kind of a little bit of trivia for the dance sequences is they had so many extras there that they didn't actually have to pay, because they actually put an ad in the paper saying, like, come and watch filming of a scene from a Hollywood movie. And then they just filmed all the people that were there dancing along to the music while they were shooting the scene. So kind of a economic way of filming. One of the most famous pieces of this movie is the 1961 Ferrari 250 GT California Spider. So Alan Ruck actually tells a story on the DVD that the insurance for this car would have been $100,000 just for the insurance, and to have the car on the set and not even be driven anywhere. So obviously that was way too much money for the film, like for the film's budget. So what they did is they built a fiberglass shell of the Ferrari and put it over top of a Gremlin, and that's how they got away with driving this car around. And then for the crash scene, it actually crashed, and there's been interviews where it said because fiberglass, the way it doesn't shatter, it like rips. And so there were several rips in the fiberglass shell when they finally crashed the car, that they actually had to strategically put leaves around to make it not look like it was a fiberglass shell. I thought that was kind of interesting. So now that we know the production history, let's take a look at the plot. So high school student Ferris Bueller, who's in his senior year, wants a day off from school and develops a well-thought-out plan to pull it off. He talks his best friend Cameron into taking his father's prize Ferrari, and along with his girlfriend Sloane, the trio explore the city of Chicago. And they end up going to a restaurant, a ball game, they end up going to an art museum, the Chicago Stock Exchange, several things. And while this is going on, Principal Rooney is on the lookout to prove that Ferris is skipping school. So in terms of the soundtrack, there was no official soundtrack release at the time of when this movie came out, as Hughes kind of shut the Paramount division down, saying that he didn't feel that the songs that he used in the movies would work as an album. It was too eclectic. However, Hughes did send 100,000 vinyl singles containing two of the songs to members of his fan mailing list. I believe the Donka Shane and the Mellow Yellow Oh Yeah song, and he sent them all free, these vinyl records, to kind of appease his fans. In 2016, however, La La Land Records released a limited edition soundtrack. There was only 5,000 of these made, and which featured all the songs and the score from the movie. So in terms of awards, Matthew Broderick was actually nominated for a Best Actor in a Musical Comedy. He did not win, unfortunately. I tried to find out who did win, but I could not find that info. And then this movie has a huge legacy. It's been spoofed many times. There's tons of like kind of rehashing of this movie. These are just a couple of things that I found. In 2016, Ben Stein reprised the attendance scene for a campaign ad for the Iowa Senator Charles Grassley. And what he did is he kind of used the Bueller scene, but replaced it with Grassley, and just to prove that the candidate was in attendance. And then Matthew Broderick reprised his role of Ferris for a 2002 Super Bowl ad for a Honda CR-V. And yeah, he kind of drives around the Honda CR-V instead of the Ferrari. In terms of a sequel, there never was a sequel for Ferris Bueller. Hughes and Broderick were kicking around the idea of a sequel with Ferris either his first day of college or his first job, but it never got past development. And when Hughes passed away, unfortunately, that pretty much ended that talks about a Ferris, because I don't think nobody would ever do it without John Hughes's contribution to the movie. However, there was a television series in 1990, a television series called Ferris Bueller, aired on the NBC network. And it starred Charlie Shatler as Ferris, Jennifer Aniston as Jenny Bueller, and Amy Dolenz as Sloane Peterson. I couldn't find any information. I don't think Cameron was in the television series. I think it was just the three of them. Because even when I looked up images for this, it was just those three. So maybe Cameron just wasn't, they couldn't find anybody, and Alan Ruck obviously wasn't going to do it. The series did serve as a prequel to the film. And actually, it's quite memorable, the pilot episode at the beginning, to kind of keep that tradition of breaking the fourth wall down. Shatler takes a cardboard cutout of Matthew Broderick and cuts it and rips it up, saying he hated Broderick's performance in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. The show, unfortunately, was not meant to be. It ended up lasting only 13 episodes before being canceled. I think this happens with a lot of successful movies, especially around this time. You would see television series or animated series, and there were great ideas on paper, but they never made it. They lasted only a few episodes or never made it past development. So in terms of this movie, this is a classic 80s movie. I think everyone on the planet has heard of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It's a great comedy. It's still funny to this day. I love the breaking of the fourth wall, talking to the audience. That was quite taboo at the time. I thought it was really... really innovative at the time, and then great casting for Matthew Broderick. He nails it out, knocks it out of the park. Again, the whole script is airtight from beginning to end, and it's the rewatchability factor. It still holds up to this day. There is a little bit of 80s stuff in there, but you could pop somebody down and watch this, and it would still hold up, and it would still be a relevant story. So overall, really good job, really great movie, and I definitely recommend you check it out. So in terms of our artifact, I don't have anything Ferris Bueller specific. However, I decided to make a Disney connection. So for those of you that don't know, Matthew Broderick did the voice of adult Simba in The Lion King. In The Lion King. And I thought I have so much Lion King stuff that I didn't want to miss anything when I eventually get to the Lion King Disney case file, but I thought I would share one piece of memorabilia. So this is a Thomas Kincaid photo, or a painting, I should say, and it's just the circle of life scene from The Lion King. So I really like the painting. It's quite beautiful, and I love Thomas Kincaid's artwork. So yeah, it's kind of hangs on my wall right now, and I look at it every day. So thank you so much for everyone for watching this video. I really do appreciate all the support. Feel free to leave those comments and hit that like button, because the more attention we can get, the more this kind of takes off. So our next case file is going to be 2063. And this is actually a Disney movie I've never seen before. It's called Almost Angels. And because this is kind of a shorter movie, Almost Angels, I'm going to add a bonus story to this one. And this will be we'll do a deep dive into the Germany pavilion at Epcot. So stay tuned for the next video, and I hope you guys are having a great day. All right, bye-bye.